Hi, welcome to Rathod Science. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 23rd February 2022. In this lecture, we are going to discuss many topics. So please don't let's waste our time. So let's get started with our discussion. And now let us have a brief introduction regarding the topics. So first topic is regarding this Lokayukta controversy. Actually, recently Kerala, which mainly passed this Lokayukta bill. Okay, so because of this is a news and we already discussed about this topic, and once again we are going to discuss this. And next topic it is regarding a new measure of inflation is brewing on the horizon. So here we are going to talk about this CPI, okay, Consumer Price Index. So this topic is very important, and even in 2021 prelims there were 3 questions regarding this inflation. So you have to know this topic. And next topic is regarding Indo-Pacific Strategy of US, and this topic is important from your international relations, which mainly comes under GS paper 2. And next topic it is regarding Russia-Ukraine issue, and again there is one more development that is seen in this issue. So we are going to discuss that in a very brief. And next topic it is regarding AFSPA. So you know that. So in December, okay, in December 2021, so there's a AFSPA, which is mainly led to some issues in Meghalaya. So we are going to discuss that, and this is very important from your polity point of view. And next topic it is regarding child welfare schemes. So there is one Twitter or one question which mainly asked by Rahul Gandhi. So because of this here, Ministry of Women and Child Development, she gave answer to that tweet. So this topic is again important from our governance point of view. And next topic it is regarding crude oil prices, and this topic is important from your economy, which mainly comes under GS paper 3. So these are the topics now we are going to have our discussion. And now let us try to see the quote. And today also I came up with this motivation quote because prelims it is very near. It is just 3 months from now. So I will be doing a very short video, okay, by tomorrow. Then in that video I will be talking about the strategy for the prelims. So already yesterday I posted one video regarding the trend analysis and also core areas that you have to prepare before going into exam. So please focus on that. So if you follow that, I will assure you that 80 to 85% of questions that will come from that topics itself. And today's quote is, the future depends on what you do today. So if you want to clear prelims, sit for 10 days. Okay, sorry, sit for 10 hours. And now for example, let us take there are 100 days are present. So in this 100 days you have to prepare 10 hours daily, and you have to practice at least 50 to 100 prelims questions daily. So this is a simple strategy that helps you to clear your prelims for sure. So you have to sit for at least 10 to 12 hours a day, and you have to do not only for 1 week or 2 weeks, but you have to do for this entire 3 months, and you have to practice 50 to 100 questions, and you have to go for analysis of that questions. Then it will be helpful to clear your prelims easily. So please believe me and please follow these rules, and finally you can clear this prelims for sure. Okay, so your future, okay, your future depends upon what you do today. That means, so if you are studying well, okay, and if you are preparing well for prelims, automatically you will clear your prelims. If you want to enjoy now, if you want to take rest now, then what happened again, you have to spend 1 more year, right? So the future depends upon what you do today. I hope you are doing well, right? And now let us try to see the first topic is regarding Kerala's Lokayukta controversy. So this topic it is important from your GS paper 2 from our polity. And if you have completed your polity static syllabus, you might have studied about this Lokayuktas and as well as Lokpal. So here we can connect this topic as a current affairs of that Lokayukta and as well as Lokpal. So there is a high chance of getting a question from this Lokpals and Lokayuktas even in your prelims and as well as mains. So please prepare this topic well from your Lakshmikant. So now let us try to see what is the context. Here recently what happened, Kerala government proposed to amend this Kerala's Lokayukta Act of 1999. Okay, Kerala government proposed to amend this Kerala Lokayukta Act of 1999 with an ordinance. So what is ordinance? You know, right? So ordinance making power is present with the president and as well as with governor. So whenever houses are not in session, so if there is a need to pass any law which is of urgent public importance means, so power will be having with president and as well as governor to pass this ordinance. So the article which mainly talks about this ordinance making power of president here is article 123 of Indian Constitution. And if you are talking about ordinance making power of governor, it is like article 213. You have to know about this ordinance. Ordinance is also one of the important favorite topic of UPSC as well. Okay, so because of this, now we are seeing there is a criticism that is mainly seen regarding this move of Kerala government. So now, why there is a need of amendment? So here Kerala government which mainly proposes that these amendments to this ordinance which mainly leads to limiting the powers of anti-corruption boards, that is Lokayuktas. So what are the proposed changes to or amendment? So the proposed changes here is, the first one is cabinet. Okay, Kerala cabinet has recommended to governor to promulgate ordinance, okay, to come up with some amendments to this Lokayukta Act. So Kerala government which mainly recommended governor to come up with ordinance, and this proposal of to come up with this ordinance to give the government powers to either accept or reject the verdict of Lokayukta after giving an opportunity of being heard. So after Lokayukta heard, okay, after the issue in this Lokayukta heard, so Lokayukta will be giving some award, okay, or judgment. So this judgment, it can be rejected or it can be accepted by the government. So this is the proposed amendment. And by this ordinance, what happened, this quasi-judicial institutions will turn into just a toothless advisory body. So if this amendment which is mainly passed and if it is mainly given assent, means what happens, so this Lokayukta will be becoming just merely an advisory body, and whatever the award or whatever the judgment which is given by this Lokayukta, that can be or cannot be followed by the government. So in this way here, the power of this Lokayukta will be decreased or merely it will be like an advisory body. So these are some proposed changes. And if you are talking about some facts regarding this Lokayukta, so we are having Lokpals and as well as Lokayukta. So at the central level or at the national level we have Lokpal, and at the state level we have this Lokayukta. So actually this Lokpal and Lokayukta Act of 2013, which was mainly notified on January 2014, 1st January 2014. And Lokayuktas are present at the state level, and the central level we have this Lokpal. So actually the central legislation, it was envisaged to make a Lokayukta in each state which is mandatory. So originally, so if you see this legislation which mainly says that each and every state should have this Lokayukta. But what happened, there are many oppositions which are mainly come up, okay, and merely what happened later on, now the states, they can decide whether they want to create this Lokayuktas or not. So in this way, states have now autonomy to frame their own laws, okay, regarding this Lokayukta powers. So this is about some background regarding this Lokayuktas. So if you see what is the need of this type of anti-corruption institutions in the country, either at the state level or at the central level. So what is the need? The first one here is, if you see in the government, we are seeing there will be some type of maladministration that is seen. Okay, so maladministration, it is one of the important thing that we can see, and due to this maladministration which mainly erodes the foundation of the nation, and finally that will lead to some difficulties in the administration from completing a task. So mainly to address this maladministration, so we need this type of institutions. So apart from that, so we can also see corruption. Corruption is one of the root cause of the problem, and most of these anti-corruption agencies, they are hardly independent. So because of this, we need this type of institution especially to prevent or to arrest this corruption. And next one is, many of these agencies, they are advisory bodies and they do not have proper effective powers. So because of this, we need this type of institutions. They need to have some effective powers, right? And next one is, we need to maintain transparency and accountability. So for maintaining of transparency and accountability in our governance process, so these are the institutions which are very much necessary. Okay, so this is gist of this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding inflation. Especially we are going to talk about the CPI. consumer price index. So apart from that, we are also going to see some basics regarding this inflation as well. So title says a new measure of inflation is brewing on the horizon. So actually this measure, which is mainly talking about this British campaigner, but we are not going to see that. Okay, so that is not much relevant from our UPSC. So here we are going to talk about CPI, that is Consumer Price Index, and even inflation. So which are very much relevant from our UPSC prelims and even mains. So actually this topic, it is important from your economy, which mainly comes in the GS paper 3. So what is this consumer price index first of all? So inflation. So what is inflation? In market, there is a tendency of increasing of price or price rise of goods and services in the market. So this condition is called inflation. And inflation, we can talk about different types of inflation, and even we can talk about different causes of inflation. So we are going to talk about them later. So normally you have to remember inflation means there is increasing of price of goods and services in the market. So this inflation can be measured in two indices, that is WPI, wholesale price index, and consumer price index. Wholesale price index means we are going to see the price rise at the wholesale level. Okay, and next one is CPI, it is at a retailer level. So this is the one important difference between this WPI and as well as CPI. So if you are talking about especially regarding the CPI, consumer price index, so it is a measure of price change from the perspective of a retail buyer. So for example, I am going to a shop to buy, especially for example, it is like soaps, let us say like Colgate. Okay, so whenever I am going for a shop to buy tea powder or sugar, so which is important for our daily household needs. So whenever, for example, last month I went to the same shop and I get my groceries at, for example, ₹1,000 per month. And now in this month I got the same groceries which I bought in the last month, but the price here is 1,200 rupees. That means the change of the price here is 200 rupees. So there is a 200 rupees of prices of goods that I got from the same shop had been increased. So I can say this is a consumer price. So consumer price means, for example, if I am a retailer, I am going to a shop as a consumer and I am getting my goods. Okay, I am giving the money, I am getting the goods. So at the retailer level, so what is the price change that is happening? That mainly measured in this consumer price index. And this index will be released by National Statistical Office. That is NSO, National Statistical Office mainly releases this consumer price index. So this consumer price index, which mainly calculates the differences in the price of commodities and services. For example, per se, I can talk about medical care like food, clothes, education, electronics, etc. So mainly consumers, they will be buying. Okay, so in these areas, whenever there is a increase in the prices happening, that will be mainly measured by this consumer price index, and this index will be released by National Statistical Office. And even the CPI have several subgroups, for example food, for example beverages, fuel and light, housing and clothing, bedding and footwear. So these are some important categories of this CPI. So now let us try to see the different types of this CPI. We are having normally 4 types of this CPI. So first one is Consumer Price Index at Industrial Workers, Consumer Price Index of Agricultural Laborers, Consumer Price Index of Rural Laborers, and this one is CPI Rural or Urban or Combined. So as of these first, that is Industrial Workers, Agricultural Laborers and Rural Laborers, that will be released by Labor Bureau. So this is one important fact that you have to remember. And now let us try to see what is inflation. So inflation, it is a tendency of increasing of price rise of goods and services in the market, right? So in short, it mainly refers to the rise in the prices of goods and services of daily or common use, per se food, housing, clothing, recreation, transport, consumer staples, etc. So this will come under inflation. So if you see this flow chart, you can draw this type of flow charts even in your mains examination. So for this, I am including this also, such that you will be getting some idea regarding how can you represent the topics or issues in the flow charts. Because in the mains you will be having just 3 hours of time and you have to write 20 questions. So on average you will be getting 7 to 7.5 minutes for one question. So to complete all these questions without leaving any questions, you have to use this type of techniques like using of diagrams, using of flow charts. Then only you are going to complete your 20 questions within this given period of time. So for this, you have to know some knowledge like how to write this flow charts. So in this way, you can write this flow charts. So already you know that if you are drawing one diagram is equal to the 1000 words. So wherever it is possible, try to make the diagrams. Whenever you are preparing so and so topic, then only have to try to go with designing of your own diagrams such that you will be comfortable with that, and those diagrams that you can remember in the examination hall. Okay, such that it will be also create some interest in you to create diagrams, and even you are going to write your answers within the time in the mains. So there will be like many advantages if you're following this. So even that will be helpful for your pictographic memory as well, right? And if you're talking about this diagram here, it is mainly talking about this inflation. So this flow chart which is mainly representing inflation. So whenever inflation is happening means there is increasing of price rise in the market. So because of this, what happened? Currency loses its value, okay, such that it will buy only few goods and services. To understand this statement, I will be giving an example. If I have 100 rupees, for example, let us take one apple is rupees 10, so that I will be getting 10 apples such that it will be enough for my family. But now what happened? Same apple, so apple season had over. So now the same apple I can get for rupees 20. So with the 100 rupees I can buy only 5 apples now. So if I want to get 10 apples, I need to spend 200 rupees. So because of this inflation, that is increasing of price of apple here, so whatever the 100 rupees that is present in my hand, that mainly lost its value. So because of that 100 rupees, I am going to get only 5 apples now, right? So because of this, it will be having a negative impact on the general cost of living for the common public. So for the common public, so there will be having some adverse impact, and that will be also leads to decreasing of economic growth as well. So how inflation hurts the economy? So I will be saying that yes, that will be lead to deceleration of economy or lowering of our economic productivity. So how? So how this inflation which mainly hurts the economy? So if we are talking about how inflation hurts the economy is, so for example, if I have 100 rupees, I will be buying 10 apples. But now because of increasing of price, I have to buy 5 apples only. But this 5 apples will not be enough for my family. So for making my family happy, I need to buy 10 apples. So to buy 10 apples, I have to use 200 rupees. So earlier, if I have 200 rupees means 100 rupees, I will be using this 100 rupees for buying of 10 apples, and 100 rupees I will be saving. But now whatever the amount, that is 200 which is present with me, I have to spend entire 200 on these apples. So because of this, what happened? It will be affecting my savings. So first one is, it will reduce the savings and will also create a situation like forced savings. So if I go for savings means, so I can't reduce the money here, but another way or in any other goods I have to go for consume and I have to save for my future, right? And next one is, greater proportion of incomes goes to fulfill basic requirements. So whatever amount or whatever the salary that I am getting, I have to use for mainly fulfilling the basic needs of my household. So there will be no proper savings. And even in the economy, we can say interest rate will be very much high, and will be also affect the investments into the country. And we also seen there is a decrease in the value for the currency, that is depreciation will be happening. So because of depreciation, if you want to import anything from other countries, we need to pay more. That means imports become very much costlier. So these are the some important ways through which it mainly affects our economy. And if you're talking about types of inflation, we are having mainly 5 types of inflation, and these types of inflation will be very much important from your prelims. So if you're talking about types, you're having creeping inflation, walking inflation, galloping inflation, hyperinflation, and core inflation. So what is this creeping inflation? So whenever inflation which is less than or equal to 3%, so this type of inflation is called as creeping inflation. And what is this walking inflation? So inflation that is present between 3 to 10%. And galloping inflation means it will be like more than 10%. And hyperinflation means we can say it is like more than 50%. This is the condition which mainly seen recently in Venezuela. Okay. So this is a hyperinflation, and core inflation means we are seeing inflation except in the food, except in the food item, food and fuel. So except this, if there is inflation that is seen in other items, that which comes under this core inflation. So these are the different types of inflation, and you have to remember this for sure. And if you're talking about cause of inflation, we will be having normally three types. First one is demand pull. So whenever there is increase in the demand, that will lead to inflation. And next one is because of increasing of cost of raw materials, we can see there will be inflation. And next one is built-in inflation. Okay, next one is built-in inflation because of increasing of standard of living. So people will go for demanding of other goods, such that will lead to increase in the demand for that so and so products, that will lead to inflation. So if you're talking about demand pull factors, for example, per se, let us take there is increasing of population. So because of increasing of population, or because of this population pressure, so that will lead to increasing of government expenditure per se, like government expenditure which is increasing in social security and even for the children, women, etc. So because of this, what happened, there will be increase in the money supply in the market. So because of increase in the money supply in the market, so people will be having money and they will go for demanding of more goods and services, right? And even whenever there is an increasing of forest reserves or increasing of forest investment, so because of this also, that will lead to rising of economy and as well as income, wages, for example, that will be leading to consumption pattern changes. And if you're talking about cost push factors, because of fluctuations of output and as well as supply, so there will be rising in the wages. And whenever there is indirect taxes, okay, so because of this indirect taxes which are mainly seen on raw materials, so because of this raw material cost will be increasing. So because of increasing of raw material cost, that will lead to finally the increase in the cost of the final product. Okay, so that will be the one important reason. And even whenever there is rise in the import prices, and even whenever there is increasing of administration prices, and whenever there is increasing of indirect taxes which are mainly seen on that so and so product, so these are the factors that will lead to this cost push inflation, right? So this is about this topic, and I hope it is very much clear. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding Indo-Pacific strategy. So title says Biden is risking his Indo-Pacific strategy. So actually what happened, the power had been shifted from towards west towards east. Okay, so from the west, power had been shifted towards east. So now every country, for example, even European countries and the West countries, they are mainly focusing on this Indo-Pacific region. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. Actually this topic, it is important from our international relations, which mainly comes under GS paper 2. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So what happened now? At present, USA global preeminence is happening. So earlier during the Trump period, so America, it is mainly reducing to losing of its relevance in the global power. And now after once again Biden came into picture, so America, so he's mainly focusing on this America first policy, and he want to bring the old power of America actually. So the America's global preeminence, it is being severely challenged by China. So now if you see between USA and as well as China, there is a core war like condition which is mainly seen. So because of this global preeminence of America, now this is one of the challenge which is mainly posed by this China. So if you see here, the future of the present US-led international order and even America's own standing, they are mainly likely to be settled in the Indo-Pacific region. So now here if you are talking about this thing, so it is mainly especially which is present with the Asia itself, right? And now USA, which is mainly having a policy, and this policy which is mainly shifting America's primary strategy focus towards Indo-Pacific region. So now USA, which is mainly focusing on this Indo-Pacific region. So what is the strategy on this Indo-Pacific region of this USA? So now what happened? So why there is a shifting of strategic movement or strategic policy of US towards Indo-Pacific? Because of Russia's moves that is mainly seen. So actually you know that there is increasing of US-Russia tensions as well over NATO forward policy and inclusion of this Ukraine in this NATO. And even we are seeing there is a crisis that is mainly seen across this Russia-Ukraine border. And we are seeing there is a dangerous confrontation that is happening across this Russia and Ukraine border. Okay, so because of this, it is mainly having some threat towards the US-European security as well. So if you're talking about this Indo-Pacific strategy document, which mainly released by US on February 11th, and on the same day, White House also declared publicly that Russia could launch an invasion on Ukraine within days. So this is a statement we also discussed in our earlier lectures as well. Okay, so if you're talking about why this Indo-Pacific region is important, so what are the reasons? So what is the importance of this Indo-Pacific region? So why the shift of this Western countries towards this Indo-Pacific region? Because if you want to maintain regional stability, so this region is a very important, because the most of the trade which is mainly happens to this region. And the strong ties with US are seen as a vital tool which will be helpful for enhancing India's strategic posture as well. And for the long-term vision, so we need to maintain the national interest in this region. And also in this Indo-Pacific region, there is increasing of Chinese influence. For example, we can talk about string of pearls of China. And for adhering to the freedom of navigation, and whenever we want to adhere towards this rules-based order and stable trade environment, so these are very important. And for free sea and as well as airlines and even connectivity and upholding international rules and norms. So for all these things, we have a very much relevance in this Indo-Pacific region. So if we're talking about where is this Indo-Pacific region is present, so this is our Pacific Ocean, right? And this is our Indian Ocean. So this region from here to here, that will come under this Indo-Pacific region. So here the red color mark, okay, red color thing that you can see, that is a string of pearls, and as well as we can see this will be the one road, one belt, one road initiative of China. It want to increase its expansionist policy in this Indo-Pacific region. It want to come up with a increasing of its power in this region. So it is also coming up with aggressive expansionist policy. So if you're talking about what are the US interest in this Indo-Pacific region, so this part will be very relevant. So if you're talking about what are the US interest in this Indo-Pacific region, so first one is the vision of Indo-Pacific. US mainly seek Indo-Pacific region. It is one of the free, and it should be like open, connected, prosperous and secure and resilient. It want to focus that. So this Indo-Pacific region should be free and open and even connected, prosperous, secure and resilient. So if we're talking about free, means nothing but, so it is one of the strategic actions which mainly outlined. It is investing in the civil society, and it is mainly focusing on free press and even democratic institutions. So if we're talking about connections, so here it mainly says that this region should be very much flexible, and it should tackle with the major issues regarding this freedom of navigation in this area. And they want to counter this China, especially to this Quad. It is a quadrilateral ministerial dialogue, which is mainly between the countries like US, Japan, Australia and India. And want to also deepen its regional treaty alliances with the Asian countries and even European Union, NATO. And even recently US came with AUKUS, that is a trilateral strategic partnership between Australia, UK and the US. And if you're talking about prosperity, it mainly says that it want to advance the prosperity goal for the region. And this US strategy, which mainly includes seeking of higher labor, and they want to follow higher environmental standards, because in this Pacific Ocean we are having Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and this garbage patch, it is combination of Eastern Patch and as well as Western Patch, and because of that they want to follow environmental standards, and they want to ensure there is a free, or we can say like so this Indian Ocean should be having supply chains, and even they want to invest in the clean energy. And if you're talking about security is one of the integrated deterrents which are mainly focusing by this US security planning, and they want to counter some issues that are mainly seen in this Indo-Pacific region. And if you're talking about resilience, so there are many transnational challenges which are mainly seen in this Indo-Pacific region, and even climate change is also one important challenge they are facing. So they want to cripple this natural disasters in this Indo-Pacific region, because in this Pacific Ocean we can see there is a Pacific Ring of Fire, and we can see convergent plate boundaries are present, and this is one of the most active volcanic area, active earthquake prone area. So they want to also mitigate these natural disasters which are mainly seen in this area, and even internal conflict, resource scarcity and governance challenges as well. So in this context, US mainly envisages to build regional resilience to 21st century, and want to deal with this translational threats as well. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding De-escalation of Russia-Ukraine tensions top priority, says India. So India says about this Russia-Ukraine issue in United Nations Security Council. So here you need to know some facts regarding this UNSC as well. So now let us try to see the context. If you see the context, it mainly says that India said it was watching the latest developments along this Ukraine eastern border and Russia's recognition of separatist states in Donbas region. It is one of the concern. So what happened across this Russia and Ukraine border? So there is a high scale of danger that is mainly seen here, and there is a standoff that is happening here, and there are also separatist groups which are mainly actually seen in this Donbas region. So it is mainly seen in the eastern Ukraine part, and it is one of the cause of concern. So because of this, what are the actions were taken by the Moscow? So they are not criticized actually directly by India, because Russia is also one of the important country which is helpful for our defense needs, right? So here what happened in this United Nations Security Council debate? So here from Indian side, they gave priority for de-escalation of tensions, okay, de-escalation of tensions across this Russia-Ukraine issues. So this is the thing, and they said that peace and stability is very much important in this region. So this is the image of this United Nations Security Council, right? And if you see some facts regarding this UNSC, so this UNSC, which mainly established by United Nations Charter, they came up in year 1945, and it is one of the 6 principal organs of our United Nations. Okay, so it is one of the 6 principal organs of our United Nations, and other 5 organs of United Nations. The first one is UNGA, that is United Nations General Assembly. We have Trusteeship Council, and we have Economic and Social Council. Next one is ICJ, that is International Court of Justice. We have the Secretariat. So these are the 6 important organs of United Nations. And what is the responsibility of this United Nations Security Council? Security means nothing but we need to maintain peace and security here. And headquarters located at New York. So this will be important for your other competitive examinations. And if you see members, already you know we have permanent members and we have temporary members. So we have permanent P5 members. So they are, first one is USA, second one is Russia, and third one is France, China and UK. So these are the 5 countries which are permanent members of this United Nations Security Council. And the rest 10 members, they were non-permanent members. And these non-permanent members, they will be having elections for every 2 years. And these seats are distributed on regional basis. And actually recently India got elected for the 8th time for this United Nations non-permanent member. So this is also one important and great news. And next topic, it is regarding AFSPA. Okay, so AFSPA, it is in news because of in many areas of northeastern states, there is AFSPA which is mainly operating now. So recently what happened, the issue which is mainly is in news because of Nagaland. So in Nagaland on December 4th, what happened, 13 villagers, they were mainly killed by the operation by the army. Okay, so actually they mainly did the wrong thing, because they mainly thought that, so these are the some terrorists, they are mainly operating here, but these were the people who are mainly work in the coal mines, in the nearby coal mines. So this incident which mainly happened on December 4th, 2021. And later on what happened in the parliament, okay, in the parliament, our Union Home Minister, he gave a statement that civilians who were mainly returning from the coal mines, they tried to flee when the para commanders of the army, they signaled their vehicles to stop. So this is one false allegation which mainly made by the Union Home Minister. So this is the thing which mainly said by the people. Okay, and later on what happened in December 20, on December 20, so there was some massive protests which are mainly seen in Nagaland Assembly, and Nagaland Assembly which mainly passed an appeal, okay, which mainly passes a resolution regarding the removal of this AFSPA, that is Armed Forces Special Powers Act. And on December 20th, Nagaland Chief Minister, he mainly announced that there is a need to establish a committee, and this committee need to look into this issue regarding withdrawal of this AFSPA. Okay, and they said that this committee which is going to submit the report within 45 days, and now 45 days which had completed as on February 9th, but till now there is no recommendations were given by this committee. So this is an important cause of concern. So this is the issue and background. So this is the thing which mainly discussed in this article. So committee constituted by this Union Home Ministry in December to study the withdrawal of this AFSPA in this Nagaland. It didn't submitted this report till now. So this is one cause of concern. So now let us try to see the committee. So this is a 6-member committee which mainly headed by Registrar General of India. And till now they didn't came up with any recommendations, and they said that suitable recommendations will be given in the next 3 months. And now let us try to see some facts regarding this AFSPA. So you have to know the background. So actually this AFSPA, that is Armed Forces Special Powers Act. So it's a reincarnation of British era legislation, okay, and it mainly came up in here even in the independent India, okay, after 1947, and the ordinance which mainly replaced by the act in 1948. At present, this law is effective in the northeastern states. Okay, so this is some background. And if you're talking about at present, AFSPA mainly gives some unfettered powers, that is very high powers to the armed forces and even central armed police forces. They can be deployed in the disturbed areas, okay. And for the first time it came into effect in 1958 to deal with the uprising of the Naga Hills and even insurgency in the Assam. So these are some important background that you have to remember. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding child welfare scheme saw hike of 390%, which is a thing which mainly said by Ministry of Women and Child Development. So why I took this article, because if you are writing any answer regarding this child welfare schemes, actually this child welfare scheme, it is one of the important favorite topic of UPSC, and you can get a question in the mains, so that whatever the data that you are getting in this article, you can add this data in your mains answer. So because of this sole reason, I selected this article for the discussion. So if you see context, it mainly says that Union Minister, that is a Union Minister for Women and Child Development, said that children-centric scheme of government had seen 390% of increase in the budgetary allocation since 2014. Since 2014 onwards, so what are the budgetary allocation that is given for the children-related scheme, that had been increased to 390%. So this is the thing which mainly said by this Union Minister for Women and Child Development. So if we're talking about details, it mainly says that Union Minister Smriti Irani has said that the child-centric schemes of the government has seen like 390% increase in the budget allocations if we see from this 2014 onwards. So here this Minister of Women and Child Development mainly responded to the question which mainly asked by Rahul Gandhi, who tweeted, right? So she mainly shared 2 important bar graphs, and this graph which mainly shows about the increase in the allocation for some schemes which mainly comes under her ministry. Okay, so one graph which mainly shows that there is increasing of about 390.66% for Mission Vatsalya. So actually this Mission Vatsalya, it is one of the umbrella scheme, especially focusing on child welfare and protection. And next graph which mainly says like 14.48% of increasing of budget allocation for this Saksham Anganwadi and as well as Poshan 2.0 program. And this program which is mainly focusing on nutrition development of children. So there is no need of remembering the number, okay, like 17,700 crores. So that is not at all relevant from our UPSC point of view. You have to know like how much percentage, whether it increased or which is decreased. So this is very important, right? And according to the separate analysis, okay, recent budget, it mainly says that actually 2 NGOs, that is 2 non-governmental organizations, which are mainly challenging that. So first NGO here is HAQ Center for Childlets and Cry. Okay, so these are the 2 NGOs which are mainly saying that whatever the budget which is mainly kept aside for these children, that may have increased in the absolute terms, but if you're talking about allocations for financial year 2022 to 2023, so the portion of entire budget, if you're comparing with the budget for this children, it is a very lowest if you're comparing in the last 11 years. So this is a thing which mainly said by NGO. And this HAQ analysis which also shows that between this 2012-2013 and as well as 2022-23, so the size of allocation which is given for this children welfare, for the portion of entire budget which mainly declined from 4.76% to 2.35%. And we can see there is a shrink that is seen by 50%. And allocation for this child health and as well as child development for fiscal year which also declined, okay, decline of 6% and 11% that is mainly seen in this year budget. So this is the analysis that is mainly done by NGOs. And these points you can write in the negative things or criticizing, okay. And now let us try to say next topic is regarding crude oil poses key risk to financial stability. So here this topic is important from your economy point of view, which mainly comes in the GS paper 3. And if you see the context, it mainly says that government and regulators, they are mainly keeping close tabs on evolving Russia-Ukraine solutions. They are mainly focusing on huge crude oil prices and extreme volatility in the fiscal markets. Okay, so here finance minister says that now because of this Russia-Ukraine issue, there is a chance to increase the crude oil prices. So because of this crude oil prices increase, that will be having some negative impact on the economy. So this is the thing which mainly said by our finance minister. So here India, which is mainly hoping for diplomatic resolution regarding this Russia-Ukraine issue, such that it will be not having much effect on India's economy. So whenever there is increasing of this crude oil prices, then what happened, that will be the one of the major challenge for our India's fiscal stability, because whenever there is increasing of global crude oil, that will lead to increasing of all price in the market. So already we are facing a lot of inflation that is seen here in India. So this is one cause of concern. So this is the thing which mainly said. And some more articles which are appeared in today's newspaper which are relevant from our UPSC. So first one is scheme for this COVID-19 orphans extended. So actually here Ministry of Women and Child Development said that. So here this PM Cares, okay, PM Cares scheme for children who are mainly orphaned by this COVID-19. So this scheme had been extended till February 28, 2022. So here you have to remember this thing, and you have to revise this PM Cares fund for children as well. And next topic is regarding this women in rural areas could boost India's growth. Actually this article says that in the rural areas we will be having entrepreneurs. Okay, entrepreneurs are present, and you can take the example of this Kudumbashree and as well as self-help groups in Kerala. And whenever women also coming, and they are also coming up with small startups, and if you are giving some financial support for this women startups, then that will be helpful for Indian growth. So this is the one important thing which mainly said by this Rahul Bajaj, because especially whenever women who are coming outside, they will be creating some small businesses, and in these small businesses that will be having high opportunity to give the employment as well. So that will lead to increasing the employment opportunities, and finally that will lead to the India's growth, because unemployment is one of the important challenge that we are facing, and even the budget also we discussed about this unemployment rate, right? And next one is inflation at record high in cash-strapped Sri Lanka. So in Sri Lanka, for the fourth month or fourth consecutive month, we are seeing there is a high levels of inflation that is seen. And here you can cover this inflation topic in the first article that I already discussed. And now let us try to see the questions of yesterday's. So first one, it is regarding coral bleaching. So loss of zooxanthellae through either expulsion or the loss of algal pigmentation. So that will lead to coral bleaching. Yes, the statement is correct. And next one is, it happens due to increase in the ocean temperature only. But it is not only to increase in temperature, but also we can take into consideration decreasing of temperature also leads to coral bleaching. So you can eliminate this second statement in the options. And you have to read the third statement here. All corals undergoing bleaching are dead corals, but they are not dead corals. Even the revitalizing of these corals will be happen whenever the suitable conditions are there. So you can also eliminate this third statements. So third option, that is only one, is the correct answer for this question. And this one is identify the correct statements. So it is regarding this biosafety protocol. So first statement is, the biosafety protocol deals with genetically modified organism. Yes, this statement is absolutely correct. And biosafety protocol is also called as Nayoga protocol, but it is not Nayoga, but it is Cartagena protocol. So you can eliminate this second statement from the options. And if you go through this elimination method, the correct answer will be fourth, 1 and 3 only, right? So these are the answers for the yesterday's questions. And now let us try to see the today's questions. So before seeing today's questions, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. So if you want to clear this UPSC, okay, either prelims or mains, I will strongly suggest you to join this prelims test series and even mains answer writing course that we launched in this Rathod's IAS. So if you believe me, or if you believe in our academy, so please join these courses. These are very, very useful, extremely useful. And this mains answer writing course will be going to be started from March first week. So this is a very, very exclusively beneficial course that will be focusing on your mains answer writing skills. And within 1 year, I will ensure you that you are going to write answer from each and every topic of your GS1, GS2, GS3 and GS4 for sure. And apart from this, we also launched this entire foundational course for 2023. So in this course, we are providing like more than 700 hours of video lectures. Okay, we are covering each and every single subtopic in your syllabus, and there is a conceptual clarity, and we are also discussing the previous year's prelims and as well as mains questions from that so and so topic. So this will be extremely beneficial, so you can join these courses. And if you have already completed your foundational course, means if you are weak in any subject like economy, history, geography, so you can take those individual subjects as well. So details of this course are given in description box, and you can visit our website Rathod's IAS Academy. There you can see the details of these courses, and there you can do payment for those courses, and you can join those courses there. And if you want to get the PDF of this class, you have to join the Telegram channel. In the Telegram channel, we are providing this PDFs as well. And if you want to talk to me directly regarding these courses, you can call to this number 8074 765513. If you want any guidance also, you can call to this number. And today's questions are, first one is based on bio-asphalt, and second question is mainly based on the oil spills. So please try to read these questions and try to give your answer in the comment box. There is no negative marking here. You can give your answer in the comment box. So by this I am concluding. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy, and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And don't forget to join the Telegram channel and also our courses. Thank you so much.